Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Petal Talk podcast. I am your host, Allison Crowder, and today we have a very special episode. We have a real friend of mine, one of my girls on the podcast. Hi, welcome to Petal Talk, where skincare meets soul care. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, so good. It's so good to have you. So let's go back really quickly and share a little bit about how we met and how we know each other.
Yes.
So we know each other because we have the same kind of group of girlfriends, and it's so fun.
I know.
And I love that our group of friends has such a wide range of people.
And personalities.
And
like all the things, I know.
Yes, and we get to all do really different things, but all kind of being the same. But it's so cool to have a really big group of girlfriends that just like love each other and support each other.
Yeah.
And even from the beginning, I'm like, yeah, this girl's like really cool.
No.
She's so beauty and she's really cool.
So
and she's always someone that I've wanted to have on my podcast. So tell me a little bit about you. For those that don't know anything about you, obviously, give me your spiel, a little bit about you, and then let's go all the way back to your life. Basically from the day you were born.
Let's see. So I guess like the new spiel.
Yes, give me the new spiel.
The new spiel.
And let yourself
things
have
are changing a little
Gas
bit.
yourself
Yeah.
up. I want to hear all the things.
So my name is Sabrina. I am 28 years old. And I am a shuffle instructor. I'm a shuffler. I'm an instructor. I am a event planner. I'm a training to be a wedding coordinator right now. I work at a wedding venue and part-time server until I can hopefully get the hell out of there. But for now, we're still there. That's still at the bottom of the list, but we're there.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that's all the hats at the moment. Yeah.
You dance is like your first love.
Yeah. So dance kind of came around without even, so if we're going like all the way back.
Yes, let's go all the way back. So when you were a child, were you just dancing around in diapers?
No, I didn't dance until COVID.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that was a very new thing. So when I was younger, I kind of like everything kind of goes full circle, like thinking about my life, like looking back on it. Growing up, I used to always I sprained my shoulder. I put my shoulder out of place when I was little, like dancing on like wet floor. Like I used to like I was a performer. I was always doing the shows with okay, you guys like sit down here. We're gonna do this. I always loved acting. Like I did, I was doing plays and things like that in middle school. And I did love dance. Like I love that performance aspect of it, but where I grew up in Stuart, Florida. So it's about 2 hours south of Orlando.
Okay.
And there was just that wasn't the thing. That wasn't the cool thing to do.
Is it a small town?
It's a very small town. Everybody knew everyone. Sure. Like we went to school with the same people. There was one girl that did dance, and she was actually she came from Germany, and when she was 12 years old or something like that, and she was a ballet dancer, and she was super passionate about it, and she was always kind of made fun of for it, for her love to for having it. And I remember it was I didn't think anything. She was the one she made the dance team at our middle school. The dance team didn't exist, and I did it with her. So
that's fun.
It was always kind of around and something that I found fun, but nothing that I tried because it just wasn't, people weren't doing that.
Sure.
I think I did one dance class. I think I remember my mom putting me in, but it was just whatever, moving on. I did gymnastics. I always played sports. But yeah, it just wasn't the cool thing to do. So in high school I did ROTC.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you ever want to join the military?
No.
Okay.
I had a friend in middle school I did theater. And one of my really good friends in middle school, her older sister did ROTC. Okay. And so she was doing ROTC. So I was okay, I'll do ROTC with you. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to wear the uniform.
So, girl.
Slick your hair back.
I did wear the uniform whenever I had to, but I would change into that shit in the middle of the day. I was not about that.
What about it was interesting to you?
I liked, I don't know if you don't know anything about ROTC. There's different branches. So depending on your high school, you have a different branch. So some people have Air Force, some people have Marine, some people have Army. My high school had Army. And
I think my high school was Air Force.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a different unit. Ours were green. Green.
Yeah, they were blue.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So the thing that my high school had, because our rival high school didn't have this part, and I thought it was really cool, was the Raiders is what they called it. And Raiders was the after school, it was a competition team, and it was the physical part of the Army. So it was army crawling through the mud, like building a rope bridge across two things, like you literally would build a rope bridge across two pieces of like two trees, and then like cross the bridge, get everyone across, like take the ropes down. Yeah, like so it was like the physical part. We did like would climb walls, we would run through sand, like it was a lot. It wasn't. I can never do it. But
like
right now.
You were interested in that.
Yeah, well, it was just like the I've always been competitive, and so it was just kind of like the physical competition aspect of everything. Like our warm up run was like a 2-mile run every single day, and I can never do that in like today. But it was ridiculous the amount. Like I was doing like 100 crunches in like a minute. Like that was a child. Part of. Yeah, granted, I weighed like 60 pounds, but like it was fine. Right. I remember like one of the things we'd have to like climb a wall, one of the competitions or one of the whatever they're called. And I was always the last one to go up the wall because they would just reach their arm down and like everyone else had to be like hoisted up. Yes. So it was like the after school competition part. There was like a female team, a mixed team, and then a male team. And so I did that my freshman year, made friends with all the seniors. Seniors left, did it sophomore year, and was like, okay, this isn't cool anymore because like, all my friends are gone. So that was that. And then after that, I did lacrosse. And for my last 2 years of high school, and I loved that.
Okay, you're so cool. You do all like the cool girls.
I always did so many things. It's always, my schedule has always been like
crazy.
Yeah, even in high school.
Yes.
So I was always like doing something, but never anything like related. Dance was the last thing that was even like considering.
Sure. Would you say that you were more of like a tomboy growing up, or were you always pretty girly?
I was always pretty girly, but I was okay with like sweating and like doing the thing as long as I didn't have like my makeup on. But I always like dressing up and like doing my hair and all the things. And then college came around. I went to Valencia, and then I transferred to UCF. Okay. And then if we fast forward through that I was graduate. It took me 6 years to get my hospitality degree.
You know what? 6 years is better than 7.
Girl, it was, honestly. And I kind of just did it.
I don't have a degree.
We don't need it. You don't need it. If anyone else, like, you don't need a degree. I mean, if you're going to be a doctor, fine. But like, if anything else, you don't necessarily need a degree. Right. And I was graduating in 2020, of course, and in event management, there was no events happening because of COVID.
And that's what hospitality is for events. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I got like specifically event management.
Sure.
So I started in food and beverage, and then did hospitality just like in general, and then from there went specifically to event management.
Okay.
But 2020, sorry, I graduated, and I think it was March when COVID happened. Mm-hmm. And I was graduating
in May.
Exactly.
Right.
So I had like an internship lined up. I had shadow opportunities lined up. I had all of this stuff, and obviously everything shut down. And I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna hang out for now and kind of see what happens.
What else do we do?
Exactly. So then I went home for 3 weeks and I was just hanging out there. And at the time I was going to festivals and kind of just like getting started in that world. So I graduated in 2014. COVID happened 2020. So I had been going to festivals a couple already. Mm-hmm. And I had never thought of dance. Like I saw this dance that was happening at these festivals, but I never like thought to do it. I was like, oh, that's super cool. Like she looks super good, but never even crossed my mind to do it. And then COVID happened. And so I was trying to like look for a way to work out, honestly, because I've always been super active and all the gyms were closed. And
it was such a brutal time.
It was crazy. It was really
when I go back and think, ridiculous. I'm like, oh yeah, I also was not okay.
Yeah, no, like we could not go anywhere, like crazy. And you were in Florida, like in like even worse other places.
For sure, yeah.
So I went home for 3 weeks, and I was working out there because my mom she's a fitness instructor, so like I had the workout equipment there, but I knew when I was going back, like I needed to do something, so I started running. I hate running.
Yeah, because it's free and open, like outside. That's all we could do.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me just, and I kind of like, let me see how far I can get in COVID. I'm going to become a runner.
Right.
No,
running sucks.
I hate running. I hate running so much. And like my knees start hurting, and it's just not, I get like shin splints. I'm just not, I feel like my feet are too flat. It's just not built for me. And so this girl was doing like an online class on Instagram, and I was for shuffling, and I was like, okay, like let me just do that just for fun. And I did it, and then like I like kept going with the choreo after the fact, trying to get it. And then from there, I just kept going with it and learning it. And then I was shuffling and running at the same time. And I was like, my body was shot. So then I was like, okay, something has to give. Like, I'm not going to run anymore. I don't need to run if I'm doing like this.
Right.
And so I would so I started shuffling and just like learning from like YouTube videos and people doing tutorials and stuff online. And because it was COVID, like I had 5 hours a day to just sit there and literally do it. What else were we doing? Exactly. There was nothing else to do. Right. So I truly would shuffle for like 5 hours out of the day. And I would just like keep going and keep going, keep going. And then COVID ended and the world like started kind of going back to normal a little bit here in Florida, at least. And personally, not that there was like anything wrong with it, but I was like, I couldn't justify myself dancing online at like 24, 25, starting this like new hobby, because it was embarrassed. Like for me, I was like, kind of embarrassed, unless like there was a reason to do it. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, if I start teaching, that's going to be a reason for me to keep going with it, you know, because I'm teaching people, so I need to keep learning. So that's when I was, okay, so I'm going to start teaching. Looking back on it, I definitely was not like, I was like, oh my God, I started way too early, but like, whatever. Everyone has to start somewhere. Fine. But yeah, so I just kind of took it upon myself to like, if I'm going to be an instructor, then I have to like make myself at a level that like I need to be at, you know? So I just kept like learning things online and taking other people's classes and doing my best there. And then the studio that I still teach at now, it's Motive. Okay. And when I first reached out to them, they were like, no, we're not looking for any instructors, but I didn't have any teaching experience on my like feet or anything. So I was like, okay, no, that's fine.
You always wanted to work there?
And that was just like the first studio, not the first studio. Like I kind of went down the list of the studios in Orlando, but that was the one that was one of the girls that I was learning from taught at before. Sure. So I was okay. So they know shuffling; they're aware of it. Like it's not that it's not a new style by any means, but it's kind of new to the public. Yeah.
If someone doesn't know, will you go into a bit more detail of like where it comes from, the origin, the reason why, like what makes it a little bit more challenging or unique? Yeah, so it's it was a very underground dance till it's been around since the 80s, but it's been very underground till about like 2010-ish, 2012 when social media, YouTube came around. People started like doing it on YouTube. And it kind of started going viral from there. And then after that, from YouTube to Instagram, from Instagram to TikTok, and like people doing all of like the Running Man, like little tutorials and things like that, just kind of like, not campy, but just like the fun very little fun. Trend, very, the trending styles, free spirit, exactly. So that's kind of how it like gained popularity. But it's a very at its core underground. It was like if you go back into the origin, like it's in Melbourne, Australia, like in like London, like those underground rave scenes, and. Yeah, so like now it's just kind of grown into like a completely different style. It's a complete the music is different now than it was in the 80s. So the style is now different than it was in the 80s. Yeah. So, Motive was the studio that like I knew that they were seeing that dance, and so I was like, okay, so if they said no, I'm gonna keep going for other studios, but I'm gonna like kind of build my own resume in a sense to teach. So I started looking for a place like a space to teach at, and it was like a weird way that I came across the first place that I taught at. It was some girl was teaching at this venue that's like the Hanau Center or something like that. I don't know what it's called, or I think it's Hanau something. But she was teaching yoga classes there, and I like came across her thing on Reels, and no, it was before Reels. Reels didn't even exist. On Instagram, that she was like teaching yoga at the studio that had like disco balls and everything. I was like, oh, this is so cute. So I asked her, she put me in contact with the guy, and this guy was like selling coffee out of the studio Mondays only. Like it wasn't like oh my gosh. Yeah, it was like he like was selling, I don't know. Like don't care. Yeah, I don't care. I didn't need to get liability or anything. I just rented the studio from him. Yeah. So I rented the space whenever he was there on Mondays for an hour. So I would pay him $50, and then he just let me use the space for an hour. And so I just started teaching there by myself and kind of building that like resume. Were you so Instagram. Nervous in the beginning? Were you nervous? I wasn't nervous about teaching. I was like, it's just imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I should like I come and like nervous about people in the community.
like coming after me like for like teaching too early, and
they did.
No, they didn't, but it definitely came up. Like I've seen other people be not scrutinized, but come under like some heat for like not
like paying your dues.
No, exactly. Yeah.
That stuff is so silly.
It is,
It's so silly.
I mean, I understand it to a degree for sure. Like if you're teaching, you need to have a certain level, you know what I mean?
But if you are talented, then you are talented.
Yeah. And, and I think it also is like I think I'm a good teacher, like to a certain extent.
You're
so
very patient.
And I think I have like a certain way of explaining things that makes sense to people, and especially like I've definitely like practiced at it now.
Right.
But even naturally growing up, like I always played teacher growing up. It was always just something that I was like, I liked teaching people and coaching people. So it kind of just like that part of it came naturally. It was just getting the experience, but also in my own like personal like I was like, I'm already 24, 25, 20, like I don't want to wait 5 years to start teaching, you know what I mean? Like I'm just
just do it, and
I'm just gonna go for it.
You can't lose anything.
No. And so like thankfully I never came under any heat, but I've still people, it still happens, and people who have been shuffling since before 2000s, and like they see people coming across now doing on TikToks, and it becomes a thing sometimes, but I think it's definitely gotten better, and people have been communicating more and like helping each other out more instead of like calling each other out. But I started teaching there by myself, and from there, like 6 months in, I reached out to the studio again because something happened with the guy. The guy like disappeared off the face of the earth. I still to this day don't know what happened.
The coffee shop guy?
Yeah, the coffee shop guy. He's like, hey, we can't have class this Monday coming up. Like I had something come up, like I'll see you like next week, and I was like, okay, cool, and just never heard from him again. Like,
oh my gosh,
I don't know what happened. I still to this day don't know what happened. A couple months after, his girlfriend reached out to me on Instagram and was like, hey, he had some family things, like he'll let you know when he's back in town or something like that. And I was
never heard from him again.
Okay, and like still never heard from him again. So
That's
I
crazy.
still have no idea what happened, but I didn't have a studio at that point. So I was like, okay. I reached back out to Motive, and they're actually, we are looking for like to expand our styles. It's a hip hop studio, like primarily. Okay. So I reached back out. They were saying that they were looking for people. I was like, okay, great. So I did a whatever
like
class,
a model call or whatever.
Yeah,
sure.
And so I did that there, and then they were
nervous
like,
for that?
Let's do it. That one I was nervous for because that Motive is like a very well-known studio and like very reputable, and like Marley, people know, like my cousin is a dancer, a hip-hop dancer, and she I didn't even really know who Marley was until I started working there. Sure. And I was like, oh wow, like these these people are very legit. Yeah. So again, imposter syndrome times a million. But I'm just gonna keep on going, like whatever. I'm just if imposter syndrome is there, but I'm gonna just keep learning so that hopefully one day I don't feel that anymore. And I started teaching there. I think I'm 3 years now. I've been there 3 years every Monday.
And so what do you love so much now about teaching? Like now that you've had some years under your belt and you are kind of doing those things, tell me about teaching. What do you love about it? What are some struggles with it? Like go into that.
So for 2 years I was doing 2 classes every Monday. I was doing beginner and advanced. And now I'm only doing the beginner. It's a beginner intermediate class is what it's labeled as. And at first, because I loved choreo, and I think I loved choreo from the beginning, especially being someone who doesn't have that much experience behind her, is because choreo, like you can learn a lot in one class. You know what I mean? Instead of like you can learn a lot of fundamentals in one choreo and be able to practice that. Sure. So I was like, I really loved doing that, and it's just like the creativity part of it. But lately, now that I've been doing beginners, I love having people come in at that first day of their shuffle journey and shuffle experience, to be a part of that, and then to have them be like, oh my god, no, I really do like this, and have when you see it, you think it's something super difficult, of course, and granted, it has it's technical. But having people be like, oh wait, I think I can do this and learn this.
What about it drew you to it? initially, was it just purely because like you thought it would be like a good workout, or what about it?
Initially it was just a workout.
Yeah.
Initially it was just to see something to get my body moving.
Sure.
And everyone who was doing it, I'm like, their body, they looked incredible. I was like,
it seems like very strenuous. It seems it's a lot of work. Yeah, absolutely.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But yeah, and now I'm doing the beginner classes, and they've been going very, very well. They've been getting pretty big. I think my classes have been, the last couple of months of classes have been like my biggest classes to date. Like I know, honestly, for the whole 3 years, like I'm in the 3rd year now, and I think up until recently, I always had the fear of like nobody showing up
to a class.
Yeah,
that might be scary. Yes.
And that has happened before. Not at Motive. I've at least always had like, maybe even if it's just like 2 people, I've always had at least 2 people show up, especially at the beginning. But I had a class when I was doing it at the venue that like nobody showed up, and then granted it was like rainy. It was right after the 4th of July, and I was like, I don't even want to be here. Like I'm like sure.
Like, I don't blame you.
I don't blame anyone else for not wanting to be here. But like I know that, especially starting something like that, that's the biggest fear. It's like, oh my god, what if nobody comes? But it might happen, and you survive. You move on, and you just keep going. And now I don't necessarily have that fear anymore. I'm kind of confident that people are always going to be there. I don't want to get too, obviously, because it could still happen.
Sure.
But I've had a steady influx of people coming in, so it's pretty cool now to kind of be at that like I'm a little bit more.
Oh, you are. And in that, you've also had some pretty big gigs and some pretty big opportunities. Yes. Don't be shy now. Yeah. I want to hear about all the things. Yes. Tell me, outside of teaching, where has your journey been taking you?
I did perform at Ultra last year.
Did. Yes. Yeah, she did. Yeah.
That was definitely a big moment. Especially because, again, not that shuffling is a new style, but in the dance community, in the dance world, like as a whole, it's a style that people are just now starting to kind of take seriously.
Sure.
Especially because to normal people, the way they're coming across it for the first time is like a TikTok trend. It's not like something super official.
Sure.
So when it comes to performance in that style is very new.
Yeah.
So that was something that, especially around the time like when I was like doing Ultra and everything, and it's still something that I'm very passionate about is getting that style to kind of stages like that, because if you go to a concert, like you have that whatever style that artist is doing, you have that style of dance behind it.
Absolutely.
So like it kind of makes sense that you would have EDM like when you're in that world, or when you have those DJs, like you would have some like the style that goes hand in hand with that genre, like on the stage, you know. But because it's so new, like that professional side of it is being established as we speak, and like we're like the community that is right now, and the ones that have been dancing a little bit longer than me are the ones who are creating those opportunities and creating that standard and making those like opportunities happen.
Isn't that so cool that you're part of that?
And that was that's something that kind of like really drew me to the performance, is like to be able to be a part of something that is literally quite like still happening. Like we're in the middle of it.
For sure.
I think is super cool. And I think it's like the fact that Ultra is the first like big festival to actually acknowledge the fact that the shufflers are there, I think is a really big thing.
I think
it's
so
a huge
too.
festival.
Yeah. I have a couple questions. I want to talk about festivals in general, but I also want to ask, clearly that's a job that like a million girls want. How, or what advice do you have for someone who wants to do something big like that? Or like, how do you set yourself apart? How do you make yourself stand out to even get a gig like that? Like what thoughts, advice, comments do you have about that?
I mean, I think it's hard. Just apply yourself, honestly. Like apply yourself, put yourself out there, ask for advice, ask for feedback, ask for like take classes, and just keep trying, you know what I mean? Like I auditioned 3 years, I made it my 3rd year, but I auditioned twice before that and didn't make it. And just like taking it on the chin and keep going, you know what I mean? Just keep going for it. And I definitely think the energy that you give is what you get back. And so like if it's something that you really want, like your whole, not your whole life, but like just pretty, like all of your habits have to revolve around that. You know what I mean? Like if there's something that you want and that you like, there's someone else doing it, like take a look at like the way they're kind of going about it and take notes and apply it to yourself. Because like something like ultra, like it's a very strenuous, like you're up, like,
so
like,
if people don't know,
it's hard.
Tell them a little bit about what it is if they don't know. Because I just found out about what ultra was, or just like the festival world.
Yeah, I mean, well, festivals in itself is a workout, even if you're just going for fun. It's
like,
you're out there in the sun for hours. Like it's, especially here in Florida, like it's hot, it's humid.
You're drinking.
And that's like people are like they're drinking. There's a lot of drugs. Like, that's what it is.
Yes.
But like if you want to do something professional, like you can't do the drug, you can't like live that way. You know what I mean? You have to kind of adjust the way what you're doing, because ultra is a 3-day long event, and you're there. We would go in from what time? Like at like 9 a.m. or something like that. And we wouldn't leave till 12, like after midnight when the event ended, to be back the next day at 9 a.m. because they do hair and makeup, so you have to be in the chair. And you have to like, I drove to Miami. I didn't drive. I took the, God bless the Bright Line, honestly. I think the universe didn't like let it happen the first 2 years, because there was no way that I would have even been able to make it to practices. But I broke that Bright Line. I went for 2 months every Sunday to Miami. I had to take the Bright Line because they had practices. Sure. So it's like, again, like it quite literally consumes, like you had to, like I still had to work. I still had to work out. I still had to kind of like I had to remember the choreos. I had to eat right. Like I had to make sure that I was healthy. Exactly. Right. And it just takes a certain, like whatever it is that you want to do, like even it doesn't have to do with like dancing, whatever, but there's the people at the top, like there's a certain level of like regimen that you have to like maintain. And it's just making sure that you are able to do that. And it's just taking the time and, applying yourself.
Have you always loved festivals?
I mean, I said the second I went to one. I went in 2014. I think, I was a freshman in college. My friend took me to one. And that was, the rest was that. But it's just kind of like, it's the aspect of like having people together, and like everybody is so nice whenever you go, and everyone is so, like, everyone takes care of each other. And, I think it's just like, honestly, because I've been going to festivals for so long, like going to just one concert, I'm like, the amount that I pay for one ticket to see one person is the same price I pay to see like 15 of my favorite people. Right. Granted, at this point, it's been 10 years of me going, so your girl's tired. But I've definitely pick and choose things a little bit differently now, and where I'm going and where I'm spending my money and my time. But I definitely, it's just like, and like getting ready, and like you're doing your hair and doing your makeup and doing your outfits. And it's so fun. And it's definitely just like 3 days or 2 days, whatever it is, that you're able to just fully ignore everything else and like do that. And
you like don't have service. You're like far away. And
exactly.
Like,
you're just doing your own
thing. Exactly. Taking cute pics.
And shaking your ass with your friends. It's just so much fun.
There's really nothing I love more than shaking my ass with
exactly.
So you totally get that. I love that. Do you have any fun plans coming up, or any fun festivals that you're planning on going to shortly?
Coming up right now, no.
Anything in the pipeline?
No, because I mean, this year my friend got married. My friend, like,
you have a lot going on.
Turning 30, like everyone. So like life definitely just kind of like I had to kind of take a pause. I think we're all planning next year to go to Okeechobee Music Festival. I'll probably do EDC. That one's at home, home festival. So we'll probably do that one, but that's more so to just be with everybody and just to be around it, but nothing.
What's been your most favorite festival experience?
Okeechobee 2017. The very first year the Okeechobee Music Festival happened. I think, no, I was 2015, I think. Was it? I don't know. Something, it was, because I was still living at the UCF housing. But I just think it was
a different time back then,
exactly. And it was, and I mean, surprising that, like, not that it's a multi-genre festival. So that's, I love, like, yes, I love EDM so much, but I do love when, like, there's other styles and on the lineup. And that year, it just had the ending, one of the days, it was, who was it? It was Post Malone, Mac Miller.
Okay, slay.
No, I know. Post Malone, Mac Miller, Future, Miguel. And then Kendrick.
Okay.
It was like all lined up on the same day. We literally we got there at 3 p.m. to the stage, and we just kept moving up to get up front for Kendrick.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
literally just like we didn't move.
Yes.
We didn't.
Oh, that's a dream.
Which is like like you have to pee, like you have to hold it in, like it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing because you're gonna lose your spot, you're gonna lose your friends. But it was
and once you lose your friends, you're never finding them.
Oh my god, no, that's
ever
it.
again.
Yeah, no. And I remember right before it was 3. Like we went there at 3:00 for Post Malone. And the fact that Post Malone was a 3:00 set is crazy because it was so long ago. I know.
Crazy. I'm like, oh, they didn't even care.
And we were like, I think and Kendrick was closing, and right before Kendrick said, I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like I literally am going to die. I did it, and I made it back, and it was when you're one person and you're like, it's a bit easier. It's a little bit easier. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Right. And you kind of found your way back, but. That definitely I think was my favorite experience. And it was me, the couple that just got married, Aaron and Brendan and Ben. So it was just like, I love going in a big group, but like, especially the mom and me, like is always super like, I'm trying to like make sure everyone's together. And like, it's just hard for me to like, unless everyone is here, like I'm always kind of like the back of my head is worried about whoever's fine. Like we're never going to find them. Yes. So like the fact that it was a small group and like, it was like my closest friends and it was just us and like we were just in our own little bubble. That's like fun. Together, you know? That's
such a fun memory. And it's so fun to think about even like what you mentioned 10 years ago, how different everything is, obviously, but like even like music is so different, and even like safety, I'm sure, is like a bit different then versus now.
Of course, yeah.
And it's just so
it's
interesting.
Like I'm not worried about. I mean, now I'm worried about things that I wasn't worried about when I was
right? It's like extra scary,
exactly.
Right,
especially the fact that we were so close. I'm like, okay, but I can't get out if anything's happening now. Like, no.
Yes. And it's so crazy too because it only takes one negative experience. Exactly. Right? And like it's such a crazy...
No, it is. And like the crowd crush situations now, like it was not that like...
No, and I feel like that happens all the time now.
And I mean, it happened to my friends recently. The last EDC, I only went one day because... It gets too much. And like they oversell and it's just like, again, I've been doing it for so long now. Like I'm good. Like I don't need to do it every single year, like all 3 days, whatever. But I want to go to be with my friends and like have the experience. But it's like, it's real. The crowd, like they got stuck in a crowd crush situation that they literally couldn't move. And I'm like, thank God I wasn't there.
That's so scary.
But like, even when I'm walking through crowds, like I'm already like, you can kind of feel it starting to happen, especially like once you're used to it, like you can feel it and you just like have to like pull back. Okay, now we're going back. We got to go that way. Because if not, we're 2 seconds
We're literally going to get stuck.
And like your one moment from like hesitate, like if you hesitate for 2 seconds, you're stuck. That's it. So you have to like move quick, and then you have a big group behind you. Like it's a whole thing.
Yes, and little girls and cute girls that you just never know.
Yeah, no, your shit's gonna get taken if you don't pay attention.
Yes. And I feel like it didn't used to be like that. I even think about when I first moved out and I lived alone. I lived in Denver and I lived in like the most downtown kind of area that you could, and it's so sad to see it be so disgusting and vile now. Yeah. Because at the time I'm like, oh my God, I would never live there again. Right. But like, it's just so dangerous and it's just so interesting to watch. Yeah. Things change.
Completely change.
Yeah. I know. It's sad. Because it's like takes the fun out of it.
I know. Yeah. I know. It's definitely a different time in the festival industry or whatever. But it's, you still have those moments and that's what keeps you coming back,
For sure. Yeah. So you go to college and you get your proper degree.
Yeah. In event management.
Yes. You had a traditional college experience in the beginning, or what did that look like for you?
For the most, I went to Valencia first, because your girl cannot, I don't even think I took this. I think I took the ACT and like didn't even check my scores. Like I just took it because everyone else was taking it. Like I couldn't even tell you what I got. I just knew, I'm like, there's not, I'm not going to get a score that's going to get me into college. Like, that's not happening.
I was kind of the same way, girl.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I was just there for the vibes. Yes.
So, I ended up doing community college. There was a community college by in my hometown, but of course, you don't want to stay home. No. You want to have the experience. So I chose to go to Valencia, which is 2 hours away. And I lived at UCF housing. So I still had the whole college UCF experience, and I did Valencia it took me 4 years to get my AAA because in that first year I got on academic probation my first semester.
Stop.
So like things didn't start clicking until like I was.
But you wanted to go to college.
I did, but because I didn't know what else to do. Like I just was like, that's what everyone else is doing, and like I feel like my frontal lobe developed like a year and a half ago.
Oh, no, me as well.
Like I didn't start like paying attention to what was happening.
So funny. I have been saying this for the last about year and a half. I'm 27. I have been saying this for the last year.
Yeah.
I just became an adult.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you knew me more than before 2023, you don't know anything about me.
No, you don't know anything about me.
I am so different. Like 100%. And I feel really bad for that, but like I've arrived.
But it's okay. Everyone's on their own pace. But definitely, like I'm the last one. I feel like, but I am
as well. It's okay. You and me both, sister. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Oh my god,
it didn't make sense then.
So yeah, it took me. Yeah, that first year I was on academic probation, and I just kind of was doing the thing because that's what everyone else was doing, and I didn't know what else to do. So I just kind of was always doing enough not to fully fail out of college, but like I was still taking the classes.
Right.
And then after 3, I was like getting the end. I'm like, okay, my friends are graduating with their bachelors, and I'm like, I still am at Valencia.
Okay,
and I
is
don't
it because
have
you're taking like barely a class a semester?
No, I was taking a full 4 classes every semester.
Yeah. You just were taking your time,
and I was failing and then trying again. I took algebra 4 times, and it took me 4 times to pass it.
I hate that for you.
You know how much money?
Also, you're like, hi, I don't want to do it either.
No,
like,
I know.
You think it's bad that I have to say it. I don't want to do it either.
No.
That sounds horrible.
I don't know who, like, and the fact that, I finished, but yeah. Well, hold on, I'll get to that. Because I still don't even technically have my paper diploma because they need me to pay $100 because you're supposed to get your bachelor's within a certain amount of credits.
Sure.
I think it's like 64 credits.
Okay.
And I think it took me 65 credits, and every time you go over a credit it's $100 a credit.
Girl,
so
that is ridiculous.
They want me to pay $100 to get my bachelor's like paper. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Like, I don't need that.
Actually, it's fine. I walked across the stage, whatever. Barely, because it was COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah.
What a rant.
No, it's so annoying.
Yeah, no.
So annoying. But I did like 2 years of college housing, and then from there I moved in with my friends. Was that fun? Yeah, it was the best time.
That's what I've heard.
I
wouldn't know, but I'm like,
it was a mess.
I want to do that.
I graduated high school at 17.
I did as well.
I started high school or college at 17.
Yes, I did as well.
Like my first college bar, I had to use an 18-year-old.
Yes,
I had someone else's ID.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. I also was 17, and then I went to beauty school, and I moved to Denver when I was 17 as well. Yes,
yeah.
Which kind of I think
that's why. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's why it took me so long to like get things figured out.
Okay,
I was 17.
I was a child. Exactly. I had barely been 17 as well. Exactly. Like I was a child.
Exactly.
So I completely agree.
Yeah,
I was literally doing my best, and I just wanted to do something quick that I would make money because college.
See, I didn't even think about making it. No, I just was okay. This is what you do. This is what's next.
And I just knew I had enrolled in other schools, and I'm like, this is not for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not for me.
See, no.
No, I don't need to take math 4 times. I know.
Mm-mm.
I just know.
No, I started college, or when my major originally was PT. And I was like, because of sports.
I was going to say, you probably wanted something in the sports
And
world.
I had a cousin who did it. And I was like, okay. Like, and I loved the PT that we had for lacrosse. And like, I was obsessed with her. And like, I would be wrapping people's ankles with her.
Yeah.
So okay, this is what I'll do. And then I'm like, you need how many like math and science classes?
Yeah.
No.
I'm so good.
I'm not doing that.
Thank you for asking. So you decide hospitality because why?
I was serving to like get through college. My dad worked for McCopco, which is like the corporate side of McDonald's.
Yeah.
And my uncles also like did it. So like I feel like it was just always in like your family. Yeah. And I knew that it's just like it was an industry for people. Like it's like a people industry. See, so it's something that I felt that I could do.
You and me are for this, right?
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry.
Like, I don't need to be taking a class about
I'm sorry because. When you have this much charisma,
I'm not doing.
I'm sorry, I can't. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not doing
I just can't. I'm sorry. It's not for me.
Exactly.
And other people are great at jobs like that.
Yeah.
And we need both.
And we need them.
We need both
because I can't. You think?
Correct. I'm sorry. Like I need to be. I'm the personality hire. I'm like the vibes.
Exactly.
I cannot be the heavy lifting.
No,
I'm
not
sorry.
doing it.
No,
I'm not.
I cannot. Yeah.
I mean, I can like physically, sure. I can physical labor, I'll do it. But
sure.
like,
no, not me. I'm sorry. No. I'm just here with the vibes. Yes.
But yeah, and I was just, and my first job in Orlando was at Jimmy Hula's, and I was it's like a taco place. It still exists. It was one of the, I think in like Nona University when I was there. I don't know. But it's like a taco thing. That place was a mess, the whole mess.
Sure.
But like I moved up to shift lead like super fast, and I was just like, okay, like hospitality is something that like I can move up based on me. You know what I mean? Yes. So like it was just something that I was always like, okay, I can do that. So I started food and beverage.
Yeah.
I always knew in the back of my mind that I didn't want. I'm like, I don't want to be like a manager out of a restaurant.
Is that kind of the goal? Is if you study that you either own a restaurant or you manage a restaurant?
Food and beverage, cater, like it can be like any, okay. So, but I'm like, I don't necessarily want to do that.
Sure.
But here I am because I don't know what else to do.
Right.
So I just kind of stayed in that, and I knew that in that industry, you don't necessarily need to like, you can get a degree in whatever, and it's not going to like lock you in. So that's why I would still move forward with food and beverage because I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be locked into this just because I get a degree in this.
Right.
I just need a degree at this point. And not that I didn't, but in my brain I did.
Right.
And then from there I transferred to hospitality because I was okay. I know I don't want to do food and beverage. I don't know if I necessarily want to do hotels, but I've never worked in a hotel.
I was going to ask if you want to do hotels because in Vegas, which is where I lived prior, right? Everyone goes to school for hospitality. Yeah. Everyone works in the hotels.
Exactly, yeah.
And that is the chain.
Yeah.
And they love it. People love it.
I've heard great things, but I was like, I don't know if I necessarily want to do that either, but I know that the hospitality industry in Orlando is huge. Like Rosen's like the number one school like in the world or something like that. Yeah. I think it's number 2 in the country, number 1 in the country, number 2 in the world for hospitality. Cool. I think the first one is in China or something like that.
Oh wow,
that's
crazy.
So it was like hospitality, like hotels is a huge industry here. So it was like, let me get my degree. Exactly. Yeah. I was like, if I'm going to get my experience in the restaurant industry, because that's when I'm working, let me at least get my degree in hotels then. So if I did want to go to hotels, I can just use that to get in. Since I'm not going to be able to like kind of work my way up since I'm not starting over there yet. And then when I was doing hospitality, I think I don't know what class, I don't know what made me go event management. I just think over the course of like growing up, I like just like party planning type of thing. Like I never thought weddings.
Well, you're like the mom.
Yeah,
like
exactly. And I liked planning like birthdays, and I liked planning things. I like organizing itineraries. I thought travel management too for a second, and almost did that instead. And I don't know what made me I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to do events because I like to put parties together. Yeah. So let me just go that route and see what happens. And at first, so I ended up finally settling on event management, graduating with event management. And when I was graduating, I started dancing, and so I was trying to figure out a way to kind of like mesh the two and trying to figure out how it was going to work. So I was okay to eat like the festival industry of it. Like these are huge, ginormous events. And so I was kind of trying to figure out a way to get in through there. And as I was doing that, how did it come across? I like met someone in the shuffle industry, and they had their own company called Delic Dreams. And we ended up having a meeting together, and we decided to kind of pretty much go in business together, or and I would take care of the dancer side of it, and he took care of the DJ side of it, and then we kind of came together for the events side of everything. So that's something that I'm also doing. It's still, we took a little bit of time off because we went really it's starting a company is,
it's exhausting.
For sure.
And
like he had the name and everything, but we're working together to, again, he's like you take care of the dance, I take care of the DJ, and then we'll see how we can like work together and make something else happen. So it's been, with the performance side of shuffling still being very new, it's been it's already hard like as a DJ to get into things, but like if you're trying to get in somewhere as a DJ with dancers, it's also really hard. So it's something that it's
a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. Yeah, while you also need a full-time job to make money.
Absolutely.
So, so I started doing that in COVID. After I graduated, I've been coordinating with them, and we're still going. doing like nightly events. We were doing brunch events, and we're doing nightly events, and that's still kind of building itself out and trying to.
You have to get send me your calendar so I can go, because I would love to. That's so fun.
We're working on right now. I think we're coming back from break, like as of now, and I think at the moment we're at two times a month at a location downtown, and then we're also collabing, so it should be
that's so fun. You have to let me know.
Up and coming. Absolutely.
That's so fun. As far as weddings, what do you love about weddings? What do you love about these bigger types of events? Because it takes a special kind of girl to love that. Because as someone who used to do bridal makeup, I'm right there with you. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a little crazy. Tell me about that. Yeah. It is, yes.
So weddings, I was always trying to stay away from weddings.
Yeah. And we all do. We all like,
I know. I was like, I really don't want to do
all but bridal. And then it turns into bridal first.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's definitely an industry that I was trying to stay away from. I really wanted to, like, I was doing I'm doing the Delic thing still, and doing the festival stuff, but, how did I come across this? I don't even know. So we took a break, and honestly, again, I just, like, I'm ready, like, I want to get out of the restaurant industry, like, this is all stuff that, like, I'm still in the middle of, so, again, don't know how to necessarily talk about it.
Sure.
We'll come back in a year and we can, like, recap and see how it turned out.
But I think that's realistic, because, like, things do take time.
Yeah, exactly.
And businesses do take time, right? Like this spot, we've only been here for 3 years. And 3 years is
I think that's like when you start kind of 100%.
Like we have had this year is going to be, this year's so different than last year, which is so different from the year before. Like that's how business is. And that's why I love having these conversations, because A, I love learning how other people make money, because I find it to be so interesting. Yeah. And B, there's just so much more than, even though we talked about it earlier, go to college, get a degree, work a job. Yeah. It's not always linear. No. Business is not always linear. And there's so much more that comes to it. And even if it's something like doing your own events or dance or skincare, right? Like there's just so much to it. And it's actually most of the time not perfect. No. Right. And like never. We talk about that all the time, and like how so much of business and like entrepreneurship is just problem solving. That's all we're doing.
It's always like putting out a fire.
Can we just have like a normal day for once? Can I please just have like a normal day? No, I cannot.
No.
And so I like, though, that we're even able to have this conversation, because that is more realistic than everything's perfect. Yeah. And life is good. Like that's not real.
No.
No.
Yeah, no. And my life even 6 months ago is completely different than what it is now.
Right.
So yeah, like I've been doing coordinating for Delic for a little bit now, and then we took a break, just to kind of reset, like financially, physically, mentally, all the things. And I ended up, we're in May? Almost a year ago. So it's like a year ago, I went through a breakup, I moved out, I also got off of birth control. That was a whole thing.
Isn't it?
Like, oh my God. I feel like I'm just like coming out of like a haze.
Your frontal lobe developed?
Yeah, I know. Like, it's been a big year. Out of a haze. Either my frontal lobe developed or I got off of birth control. Something happened. And I moved out and I moved back in with my little sister. We lived together.
Oh, fun.
And I'm just like, I want to get out of the restaurant industry. I need to I want to keep going with the shuffle and the Delic and everything, but like I need to do something that is going to be able to like support me while I'm also doing this that isn't the restaurant industry. Right. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go to weddings. Like it is what it is. Like I'm just going to do it. So I like went out and I applied, or I just like went online and I just literally I typed in wedding venues and I just sent my application in. Yeah. And the next day the Black Barn got back to me. That's where I work now. Yeah. And I started doing events. I'm an event staff at the Black Barn at the moment. And then recently they brought me on as so she owns another company, a wedding planning company. And so she is now training me to be a wedding coordinator through them. So, I'll be doing wedding coordinating and then working at the venue. And then I also do coordinating at the market, which I completely forgot about.
Yes, I remember about the market. Well, it's so cute. It's so fun. And that's
I'm an assistant coordinator. It has during season pretty much. Okay. It's like every week. Yeah. When I started with them in February of last year, and they were only 2 times a month. And
where is that location?
They're all over. So when I started, it was at the Suggins Empire parking lot and at where was the other one? Oh, Elks Lodge. Okay. And now we have the Acre. We had the Wellburn for a little bit. We don't do succulents anymore because there's something with the permits, but there's somewhere in Ivanhoe that we do. It's Collective Corner going, like, it's on the Instagram. Like, it's so literally, it's all over the place now. Yeah. Which is cool and exciting for sure. But that's also just like another coordinating.
That's a huge event though, right? Because you have, how many people participate?
It depends on the location, but there's anywhere from like 25 vendors to like 50 to 60 vendors, depending on the location.
That's a ton of vendors because then they have their whole team, right? Like, it's hundreds of people.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Do you like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, we're great.
Seriously, that is like so much work. Like, how do you make it look so easy and so seamless?
Well, there I'm an assistant coordinator. Sure. So they kind of give me the plan from like the day of, and I just
So that is kind of what you do day of.
Yeah, I do day of with them. I'm hoping that soon, maybe one day, I will be able to take on a little bit more. I like, just as we go, like they're giving me a little bit more responsibility as we keep going. But at the moment, it's run by the two head girls.
Yeah, that's so fun.
So that's, if I had to do full-time coordinating for them, it'd be a lot. But
it's a lot because you know they have these little markets down here every Saturday, and every week I'm like, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm like, I feel so bad for who sets them up because I just know that it is all they do all week long, and then they have that day, and then we start over, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's definitely they have their own equation kind of type of thing. Like, you know, they plug in like different things and they have their own rhythm. But it takes a second to like get to that point.
Sure. Yeah. That's so fun though. And that is what I'm talking about. You know, we touched on this a little bit before, just talking about community. That's something that I think is so special in this kind of Central Florida area. You know, I was talking about how I've lived in a lot of different places and big cities, little cities, whatever. And I've just never experienced anything like this. And it's just been so cool to watch people show up for each other and for different types of communities to get excited about. It's just so fun to, everyone's just so kind here and so nice and so supportive. And
everyone's like doing something.
Yes.
It's really cool.
In their own world. And it's just so fun to be in a friend group that's so diverse, in an area that's so diverse, that everyone just has their own thing and everyone is supportive. And, you know, it's just, I love living here.
Yeah, I know. Orlando's really cool.
Fun.
Orlando's super cool.
It's not like that in other places.
Yeah. It's not, because you're right. Because, I mean, granted, where I grew up, I was 17 when I left. So, but it definitely was not.
No.
Everyone, like, it was just like super copy paste. Everyone's kind of doing the same thing.
Well, okay, I used to live in Las Vegas. Okay, nobody cares about you in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I mean, it's so big.
It's huge and also is full of very temporary, right? They move there for a job.
True. Yeah.
Or they move there for the whatever.
Or they're vacationing. Or
correct, And a lot of people don't like properly live there. And people would ask me, do you live in a hotel? No. I live in a real house. I don't live on the strip, right?
Yeah.
But there is something to, because it is so temporary, people were just not very nice, right? But like, I've met so many people here that have lived in Florida their whole life or have lived in the same city their whole life. That is
crazy
to me. I can't even comprehend that.
I know. I mean, the fact that I've even been here for 10 years I've been here is insane. And the fact that I'm old enough to be somewhere not my hometown for 10 years is insane.
You're like, I'm sorry, I meant 4.
Yeah, no. Sorry. No. That's crazy. What do you mean?
What do you mean? I'm still 20. What are you talking about? I just finished school last year. Yeah. It's just been so special living here and watching and seeing, you know, and we talk about the community aspect just because it is something that I take so... It's something that I really want to do here and have done here. And I think it's so special. And so, you know, talking to other people who are kind of leaders in their community too, I'm like, that's just so special and just like a fun place to be in. So I love that for you.
Thank you.
So where do you kind of see yourself? Tell me kind of what the goals look like. I know we kind of touched about this, but like in the dream world, what are you doing? What does your job look like? What does the rest of 2025 bring for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely changed in the last year. I think if you would have asked me last year, definitely shuffling was like that, the head and like the heart of it. And that's definitely something that I still want to maintain and I want to be a part of. I definitely wanted to be more on the front lines of it for sure, like a year ago. And now I kind of want to help just support other people get like on stage more so as versus me being the one to be on stage. So I definitely want to support others in that journey and kind of still fight for opportunities here in like the downtown Orlando area and get like shuffling on stages like across here. I mean, essentially everywhere, but like you start where you are.
Sure.
So I definitely want to keep that going, and push for that. And I think now that I've been doing like the wedding stuff and have been working at the venue, at the end of the day, I just want to get all of my people like employed. Like I want like my mom to have a job, my dad, because like she's been struggling to like find a place, and like I want to have my sister, like I want to have everyone around me and like my core group like fine and okay and kind of working together. Like I love the idea of like a compound and
That's
keep
so
like
fun.
I want that to be like something that I'm doing. So I want to hopefully open up my own wedding venue or just venue.
So fun.
And primarily weddings and whatever else comes that way. And have everyone kind of, because my sister works in the kitchen.
That's
so
fun.
Have everyone kind of be a part of that.
Okay, so that's what my wedding venue was like.
Yeah.
It's a family, and it was like the mom and dad bought the property. One daughter did florals, one daughter did food, one daughter did whatever, and it was like 4 girls. And it was so fun for many reasons, but primarily as the bride. Write a check.
Yeah.
Bye.
Done.
You do it all.
There.
I didn't have to do anything.
Exactly.
And I got to meet all the sisters and all the family.
And it's different when it's family owned. Like it's just
so
like a different,
special.
like flow.
And we talk about all the time how beautiful our wedding was and how special. And I think because it was like this family going into it already, you absolutely could do something like that. No doubt about it. It was so, I wouldn't have changed anything about that. Seriously. And like I had a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Of course. I mean, always.
Like for real? But that was something I ever had to worry about. And it was so nice to know that, you know, there's all these extra layers of support and, you know, it being family is sweet and special.
That's the goal. I just want everyone to kind of be like involved and like also like not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Okay, amazing. Well, do you have any advice to anyone that's listening who's in a similar position as you maybe used to be, right? Maybe they are in school, they don't love it, or maybe they've tried a couple of things and they don't know exactly what fits, or they have big dreams of being either, you know, on stage or owning their own business or whatever, but they were feeling kind of like you did maybe a couple years ago, maybe like during COVID. What advice do you have for someone who doesn't know where to start or doesn't know where to finish because they are feeling like, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, like what else to do.
Yeah. What advice do you have for them?
I definitely think, I mean, I feel like everyone's like, oh, keep going, but like, yes, keep going, but also like keep trying other things. Like just keep going at different angles and going for different people and going at like, if I'm like talking about performance or like shout dancing in that industry specifically, like there's always like everyone's saying no, but there's always someone that's going to say yes. But like trying, if one space keeps saying no or whatever it is, to keep learning, like to keep going and trying other styles and like trying out like learn like take a couple steps back and like learn fundamentally to like because I know for me at least because I started choreography, because I didn't have a background in it, I just kind of I skipped 10 steps, you know what I mean? And then I had to like, okay. And I'm like banging down this door and like, they're not letting me in, like teaching, for example.
Sure.
And they're no. And I was like looking at other venues or other studios, they all said no. So I'm okay. But like, if I'm like taking a look at myself and like the way I'm coming across, if like they're going on my Instagram, they don't see a single teaching thing.
Sure.
Like, so like taking a step back and kind of start not being afraid to like start over, and like you can't skip those steps. You have to start from the beginning, even if you're a little bit late. Like you do, and like it doesn't like what is gonna maybe take you 1 year, like it maybe took someone else 10 years to get to. Yeah. And like I'm like, yes, sometimes like that makes other people feel some type of way, but like it doesn't have to take you 10 years, but you do have to start at that beginning level and like learn, and you have to be like a student first, like always. But definitely, I think just something like looking back, because like I'm 28 now, almost 30. Like we're 30 is approaching, and I'm like, fuck, what have I done? But like something that I think I am really proud of is that like I have tried like a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like not everything has always panned out, but I at least like tried it, and like I'm still to the point. Like, and I feel like now things are kind of starting to make sense. And I'm still not there yet, but like they're finally starting like, okay, maybe like I will have it figured out in the next 5 years. Where like 5 years ago, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. But like now I'm okay. No, maybe in 5 years, like I think I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
But I like, it took a lot of trying and like, and just going for it.
But that's life. Life is trying and experiences and what works and what doesn't work. And that's a huge reason why, you know, I've always been like, I want to have her on the podcast. Yeah. Because there is something about just having a wide range of life experiences that you know what you want now and you know what you don't want.
Exactly. That's what,
and that is life. And that's also like 30.
And you're going to always think about it. And it's always going to be in the back of your brain. You're always going to be like, oh, what if.
Imagine you never tried fill in the blank, right? No. Like how like big of a missing piece you'd have or like longing for something else. And that's why I'm just such a big advocate all the time for people living full lives, even if it's things that are as silly as our book club. It's not that deep, but it brings us all together and it's good for us to read, right? Like it's something small, but like it does fill your life. And maybe we decide, you know, we don't care about reading anymore, whatever. You know,
it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that like getting each other, like it's so hard, especially the older you get, to get everyone together. Like, and so having that like once a month, I guess maybe sometimes you can't make it, but having that set schedule of once a month, like no, we are going to get together. It makes it.
And that's life. Yeah. And you gotta just try. Yeah. You really do. Cause this is your first time and your only time.
Yeah. Your only time.
You gotta just try. And if you're thinking about something and you've been thinking about it, this is your sign.
Exactly. Just do it. Just do it. And even if you don't know anything about it, other people do. And there's especially with social media nowadays, like there's so many resources out there. There's so much out there that you can be self-taught.
And it's also like free. Yeah. Most of it.
You can be self-taught in anything. That you don't need to be going to school. Granted, yes, you like don't be a self-taught doctor.
But that's not it.
Please no.
Right.
It's just ChatGPT. Oh my god. But like it's just trying and going for it.
And life is too short to do things that you don't.
And like
love.
Don't be like. You're going to be embarrassed anyway. Like whatever.
For sure.
And whatever.
For sure. But then one day you'd be like, oh, I should have done it sooner. That's always the response is I should have done it sooner.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You're such a gem, seriously. And you're so fun. You have the best energy. And I just think this is going to be a big year for you. I really, really do.
I hope so.
And I'm excited to see, we do recap at the end of the year.
Yes, next year. I'll come back and we'll see.
And see what's going on because you do just have so many fun things ahead of you and you just have the best energy.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so fun. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next week and have a good one. Bye.